my big sister. Thank you. Dave, thanks for the feedback.
My pleasure. Do you think anything was
I know. I know something.
No.
Yeah.
That ain't what I want to do.
I'll buy a hamburger and not to see it.
Face order. I throw his shoulder out.
Yeah. Wow, I'm just totally feel that. Yeah, that feels so kind of rough.
Be laid up for 6 months.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments about casino? Okay, we'll move on to new business, and our first order of new business is the appointment of Helen Tots for the town assessor. We interviewed the Helen Tots and another person for this job, and at the interview Amanda was there, and Carol, our former assessor, just retired, and myself and Gail, our acting treasurer, and John Penaldi, who is the assessor from Manchester. And Helen Tots was an excellent candidate, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the interview we took place. Anybody here? Yeah. But I'll say she has a wealth of experience. The person from Manchester said you can't beat her resume. And in the certification, there's a CCMA1 and CCMA2 tests that, and that stands for Certified Connecticut Municipal Assessor. And she's not only passed both of those tests, but she's a course instructor, so she teaches people to pass these tests. She is older and retired from her assessor position in Suffield, and she's looking for a position here. It would be a wonderful thing, and we really need an assessor at this time. So I would ask for a motion to appoint Helen Tots to the position of assessor.
Should we meet her? Like,
we could.
I mean, that's what we're doing with.
Well, the treasurer is an at-will position, and it's a much more important thing. But we wanted to put her in place as quick as we could, because we're getting a lot of assessment appeals at this time, and she could start Monday if we and there's really, if we don't, and she's an excellent candidate. If we don't appoint her tonight, and maybe we could, we could, I'm probably, if we had a special meeting, but we have to do it very quickly. So if you wish to do that, that's fine. But,
I'm going to make a motion that we appoint Helen Tots as town assessor.
Have you met her?
No. But let's get to somebody's second, and we get to a discussion on it.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. I did speak with Carol about it. Carol knows her, and spoken with her, and Carol said she'd be a perfect fit. She'll really do a good job. She understands all of it. So there's no having to get acquainted with. she'll do some different things than what I did. She said, but everybody would, that would come in there. But Carol was very high on her. And since, you know, there's the gauge to me rather than me to that. So I would think we should do that to move along. And because there's not a big pool of those people that, you know, we can really go to at this time.
Carol also said that there is a lady working in her department, I won't remember her name, that is studying to become an assessor. And she thought this lady would be particularly good, since she has taught the course, you know, and has tremendous background, that she would be an excellent mentor for this young lady who is, would like that job in the future. So I think there's a lot going for it, and I haven't met her either, Jason, but I trust Carol without a question.
I remember Carol's comments about the candidate as well, and she did speak highly of her. However, I'm not appointing anybody to anything without meeting them. Especially bargaining unit position. Especially to a bargaining unit position. You own that at that point.
Okay. I would say we should vote, and
Steve, your comment?
I mean, I've heard enough, you know, all the people who said that she's good. I'm for this person.
okay, no further comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll be fine, but
I hear what you're saying. Okay. The tax refunds. I entertain a motion to approve the tax refunds.
I'll make a motion to approve the tax refunds of $231.53 dated 2/27/18.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
Charlie seconded it. Charlie did.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we're not going to have public participation for the second one. We'll go on to selection.
Before you do that,
Yeah.
is this the proper place to talk about the committees coming in and reporting once a month, the mill committee and the charter
Yeah, I
study
think that
committee?
we can do that now. And we could do it during reports, but just as well now. I think that Jessica said she'd like to come in at the beginning of April, so we'll schedule her for that. And the charter committee, right now, I'll call them and they could come in probably for the next Board of Selectmen meeting to see how they're doing. So I'll call them too. So I think we should schedule them, and we will.
I'd like to make a motion then that we develop a schedule for the mill committee and charter committee, charter study committee chairman to come in and give us a briefing once a month
Okay,
at their convenience.
okay. Second,
I'll second that.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Steve, you're up for reports.
Well, we all know we got this. Means nothing to the people who are really for the casino. And I can't wait for March 5th to get here.
I really think you ought to be lobbying for them to name something after you. Parking space or hallway or, you know, something.
Fire hydrant.
Pick it. I am sincere, Steve.
Andy, you're up. Any comments?
Yeah, I sat in on the February 26th Economic Development Commission meeting. It was a good meeting. People who were there were real contributors. I think they're going to work well together. There's a mix of new people on the commission. starting with Bob, and everybody really seemed to work very well together. I think you're going to get something good out of that commission. They talked about a couple or three things that were important to them. They would like to develop a set of bylaws for the commission. And they have gotten some bylaws from Groton, Hebron, and Thompson to look at, to help develop their version of bylaws for their commission. So I think that's pretty well organized, and people were given copies of that to go home and take a look at, so that at the next meeting they can start that process. And I think that's a good thing. In addition to that, they plan to write a statement of work, a job description for the economic development professional for our town. That's great that they're going to do that. I gave them a copy of the one I obtained from the town of Windsor as a guideline for doing that. I think it's pretty complete. The one thing that Jim Burke warned me about is that it was completed in like year 2000, and so it's kind of old and dated, but he said the reason it's old and dated is that's when they hired me, and they haven't gotten rid of me. So he said that's why it's that date. But I looked at it, and I think it's pretty complete, and I think it'll be a good thing for the commission members to look at and develop their own on it.
Good.
And they also talked about the casino, and Lori was a resource in that discussion, and we certainly got more from Dave than we understood at that meeting. But again, that was a very constructive discussion. They asked what the town can do to help NMCT, and we all asked that question. And I hope that with Dave coming in, that we will, as this proceeds, that we'll become an important partner with them. They're a good outfit.
Could I say something too? Lori's talking about the Economic Development Committee. You could also be developing your webpage too.
I'm sorry, they are doing that. They are
Okay.
developing a website. They had a sample of a website there that they were using as a model that we can base ours on. So that's in work in progress also.
Okay, good. If you had an individual, a contact person, that would help too. They could get in touch with Amanda and myself, and we could assist a lot.
That's all I have.
Okay. Jason?
So on February 18th, I had the good fortune of going to the UConn women's basketball game, which was a ton of fun.
Did they win?
Oh yeah, of course. But presenting the colors that day were Girl Scouts, Brownies, and Daisies from the town of East Windsor. And I just thought that was a really cool thing to see. I was really glad that I was there for them for the day that they were there. I don't know who presented the colors, but I just wanted to give them a shout out for their civic engagement. I did attend the Winterfest held on the 24th, and Rebecca, you and your committee did a great job on that. I think you underestimated the number, though. I think there were 100 people there while I was there.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's no way to judge it.
It was a good event, and nice to see the work of your group kind of coming to fruition. So on behalf of all of them, I thank you for that. The budget workshops continue. We've been spending time doing that. I understand, if I'm wrong, I'm hoping someone will correct me, but March 8th will be the day that we actually make any changes to our budget.
Yes, March 8th is our scheduled date, although we could have made changes all along if we wanted to, and we have one more that we might make changes on Mondays.
But for those folks who actually are interested in seeing what it is we're up to, March 8th would be the night to be here.
Exactly.
That's all I have.
Hey, Charlie.
Okay, I don't have much, the budget workshops have been taking up a lot of our time, and I've been doing quite a bit of research in terms of other towns and spends and so forth, so we'll look at that when we get together for March 8th.
And I too have been involved with the budget. One thing I did go to on the 27th, Tuesday, was the group at the Board of Education in the school who were talking about marketing and really getting information out to the public about the school system. And I think there's they were talking about stakeholders and people they might involve, and seniors were one, and businesses another, and of course there's always parents and people who are associated with the school. But I think it's a beginning, and I think that maybe to see the school more involved with the community might be a good thing, and touching out and reaching people maybe as tutors or something that is a good thing. Getting the community involved with the schools involved with the community a little more is a good thing, and they're working toward that. There was only 2 workshops, and if anybody has an idea, any ideas, they could contact me, because I told Chris Sabarge that the town kind of needed a contact. If we had ideas, then who would we call? And she said, well, call me. So I guess I'm a link between the town and her, or you could call her directly. But so if you have any ideas of how the school can get involved with the town or vice versa, I think they're open to that, and they're thinking about that now.
So just kind of piggybacking on that, I'm reminded I did have a communication with somebody about the Parkland shooting and the attention that's come or been raised by students after that, and talk of this National Day of Walkout.
Mm-hmm.
And the notion was raised, I think very rightly so, that having some sort of a coordinated activity that day might in fact be a very bad idea. So there might be opportunity to have a conversation with the superintendent about very unfortunate potential unintended consequences associated with that.
What day is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But there is, I'm sure Dr. DeBarge will be familiar with it. I would just, appropriate steps should be taken to make sure that no unintended consequences happen.
Good.
Just going back to you, thanks, Jason. Did I interrupt you?
No, I'm done.
That, I guess I'm not really understanding what is their goal with what they're doing with these workshops, and to say to be more involved in the community. You know, being involved in the community, I mean, the residents' children are across the street and down the street and on Route 5 every day, you know, that's a lot of touch, and especially with the extremely high teacher count to student. So what is their objective? What are they attempting to do? I don't understand that.
What they were saying, well, for example, the seniors, they were talking about how they might involve seniors and get involved with seniors. And I know that in years past, they've had the senior center go to lunch at the school system. And that's a good thing. The seniors enjoy it. They talk a lot about it, and the children get to interact with the seniors in the town. And I live in an active adult community, and so you have to be 55 to purchase a home, and it's kind of a condo type thing. But there's a lot of retired teachers there that would probably like to get involved if the school, and to, like I said, tutoring or something, or somehow helping out with the school system, but on a part-time basis, not make too much of a commitment. They could read stories to young children or something like that, get involved. So it's just a way to get more involved with the community. I would, if I go around, I would ask the fire department, how can you help and get involved with the schools, and vice versa. And I know they have junior firefighters. And so it's just a matter of kind of blending the school into the community more. I think they feel a little isolated. They have sports games, but not much of the community comes to see their games. And so I think they just want to be recognized a little bit.
Well, I think, people that, for the most part, that attend sports events in the schools is because they have a child or a niece, nephew, or somebody that is in the school systems, and with the, huge reduction in the school system, it is going to be less. So I don't know how that connects. I'm still not getting what.
Well, they did give us.
Those are nice things to do, to have somebody come read stuff, but what is the goal? What is the objective here? Do they have anything? We want to do this, this, and this, or this and this?
Well, actually, and what it was a listening, really. And what we did is write down on big pieces of paper like that ideas. And now Chris DeBarge and the staff there are going back and going over it and making sense out of what we gave them, the information we gave them, so that I can talk to her and say, we'd like to know what you got out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we're ready to go into executive session. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session after a 5-minute break.
Some motion to go into executive session after a 5-minute break.
Okay.
You got
All
the
those in favor?
checklists? Aye. Checks, gotta sign those.
Yeah.
Where'd the screen go?
That was fine.
We're going to get a new, and I don't think it's going to be a smartboard, I think it's going to be a television set.
Is it like a touchscreen thing that you can still?
Well, I don't think you can touch screen. And I don't think we really ever touch that screen anyway.
That's true.
But it should be easier to see. Yeah.
Thank you.